And we're back. This is probably the second last movie I'm going to watch this year. This is Molly's Game. Directed by Aaron Sorkin, the crazy screenwriter. This is directorial debut, and it's based off the memoirs of Molly's Bloom during the adventures of this time, and it stars Jessica Chastain and Idris Elba. Jessica I haven't seen since Crimson Peak. Interesting, that one. Haven't seen Miss Sloan, and from memory, I don't think she's floundered her sexuality this much in a movie before. So it's interesting to see how she justifies it, because in interviews she's always talking about strong woman characters and don't waste her time type of thing. Idris is back. Hopefully it'll be great, because I mean I haven't seen him for a long time now. I mean he was Heimdall in Ragnarok, but he was hardly in it. Everyone else, there's a variety of casting, but basically I look forward to is just a pretty intense sort of crime drama. It jumps around in time apparently, like before, during, and after, so wonder how Sorkin's gonna balance that. Cinematographer, I haven't seen her done anything, so in terms of shots wise I'm not gonna be that expected, but just crazy witty dialogue, or just really Aaron Sorkin dialogue. It's just great. I mean, I'm really pumped just to see how the story is going to unfold and just how the cast is going to deliver their lines. So there's that, and just the whole concept of like the narrative in terms of just like her story. Just want to see how that unfolds, and I'm just curious how it's going to go down and what happens to her. And like just from the trailers and just like synopsis, I'm actually interested to see how she sort of pulls it off and how she gets caught on all that. Anyway, that's it. This is before and this is after. So we are done here. This movie, I swear, if you don't like Jessica Chastain and cleavage, you're not gonna like this. But overall, I think everyone had a good stage presence. Chemistry was there. Decent delivery of lines, but I think the weakest link would have been the cinematography. Just very generic, nothing compelling. Just doesn't add to the narrative. I mean, the whole jumping back and forth between her when she was young and then when she was doing the games and then afterwards being sued, I think it was an interesting narrative, but I just felt like the shots that were taken, cinematography was very safe and there was nothing to play around. I mean, this is not Social Network. This is David Fincher. I think Sorkin, great on casting, directing, but as a cinematography wise, it was just a tad lackluster, and just sort of wish it was just shot better. I think that was my biggest complaint, is the terms of the shots was just very generic. But yeah, I mean, overall, I mean, good presence. Jessica Chastain, a lot of voiceover narrative, so if you're not into that, also a thing that will bother you. But I think it worked on I think it worked out the way it should have, because there's a lot of info dumping, and I think it brings the story more, and you understand it more in terms of this voiceover. Because I swear, if it was all done dialogue, then it'll be a lot of talking. I mean, granted, when I think back to Steve Jobs, there was a lot of talking, and it was just him being particular, and I think Fassbender did that well because the story called for it. But I feel here Molly Bloom wouldn't be a talker per se while she was setting up the games, but I really enjoyed sort of like her character, what she brought to the table, and yeah, Jessica Chastain did what needed. I mean, cleavage is a lot here. I mean, it was hilarious, like two old guys just walked out and they're like, what's your favorite part? And they're like, the boobs or something. But yeah, I mean, that is a factor. I mean, granted, it is in the narrative where she is dressed away to be getting more tips type of thing, and it's like, you know, it's not out of the narrative context, so you can't complain about that. I mean, like, granted, if it was just like randomly she was just dressed like that all the time and it's like out of the context, then it would be just like, what are you doing? But overall, I enjoyed her performance, enjoyed Idris Elba's lowering up, and yeah, even Kevin Costner had a pretty good emotional scene there. I think good usage of F-bombs really brought back the umph. And yeah, I think I enjoyed it for what it was. And I definitely want to look into the story, into how she got caught, and just like more. I will definitely check out her book. But I did that was wild. Never read the book, even though I bought it. But this time, I think I'll actually read Molly's Game. But yeah, I mean, overall, an interesting sort of like inspired, based on type of story. I think the biggest thing for me is just like a lack of supporting cast, because I mean, beyond Kevin Costner, Idris Elba, that's it. Michael Cera is in this, but he's just here and there. And there's the dude that plays Dean, I forgot his name, but yeah, there's no supporting around her. So it's a very, I mean, shot generically, but the way that it's told is very different from your typical movie. Usually there's a wide supporting cast of her just telling her feelings and all that. So instead of that, we have a lot of voiceovers. So I guess that's what we get instead. Anyway, that's it. This is the before and after for Molly's Game. Later.